Hello.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Oh, wait.
This is the CoffeeXControllers podcast. I'm Yasin Barnes.
I'm Shadley.
I'm Saeed.
I'm Brad.
Yeah, you had the chance to say more. I would catch you.
Little bit Khamat bread.
That's called a running gag from last episode. That's how we're doing this year.
Yeah, so if you want to catch up, you can go listen to that or watch it.
You have to keep up with the cinematic universe.
Yep.
If
Tell
you
us
want.
about the week that was, Shadley.
Yeah, that's just work. It's been a quiet week. It's just been work, really.
Same work and sunburn.
But didn't you play games with your cousin this weekend?
I played like a bit, but I didn't play enough because every time at the end of the day I was too tired to play games. So we played a bit of Unraveled. It was cool.
Nice.
Does it work?
Yeah. I forgot your controller.
That's
I
fine.
realize now. Play a bit of Unraveled.
Forgot.
Is that the two sides one?
Yeah, that's where you like two balls of yarn, but you're people and you must
Help each
use
other. Yeah.
to solve the puzzles by
Oh.
swinging each other around and climbing on stuff.
It's like it takes two before it takes two.
Yeah.
It takes two.
So we didn't play It Takes Two also because my cousin already played it. So I didn't want to play a game where there's puzzles where one person knows the answer to all the puzzles
Yeah.
because that would
That
just
makes
be
sense.
a waste of time. We tried Overcooked, but Overcooked is we need two people.
No, so the thing is, Overcooked needs
Five
the
people.
players of either the third or the fifth person to be the manager. You actually
Yeah,
need someone
yeah.
to go, okay, your job is this,
Yeah.
your job is this. And just to
To cuck
basically
everybody
Overwatch.
out.
Yeah, there's Overwatch featuring Overcooked. and you're just basically going, okay, you do this, you need to catch up, you need to do this. I think that's the
Yeah.
trick.
Go wash the
Yeah.
dishes.
Because it's too tough when you need two people because like
it's stressful.
you have to be all
Yeah.
over, but you also have to find time to wash your dishes, and it just doesn't work. Like I don't think it works well for two, so we gave up because we were getting frustrated.
So you can understand divorce. Like there's just not enough people to manage everything in the house. And you, Brad?
You need a manager.
So after our last recording, I dropped the hint that I would like to have borrowed Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and Shadley obliged.
He picked up on the hint.
Yes. Well, yeah, it was a very non-subtle hint. But I honestly, that's like that evening. That was a Friday. I played it from that evening until the Sunday. Like
For real.
I was in it straight away. So good. I mean, Shadley spoke about it last week, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but it's amazing. It's I know it's the same genre, but like it reminded me so much of Ori and the Will of the Wisps and the Blind Forest. It's like, and those are my favorite Metroidvanias. Like Hollow Knight never spoke to me really. Like I'm not a big Hollow Knight fan, to be honest. But I was in it from the get-go. It was like one of those games. It was a bit touch and go right in the beginning because there's that those cutscenes that are just like JPEG cutouts.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh
like
yeah,
zooming in.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, Ubisoft. But then
Once you in it,
You'll be hot.
yeah. So
Hey.
so when I saw that, I'm like, oh no. But then you forget about it immediately because the
You'll
stories
be
are
40.
yeah. the story's a lot of fun. The gameplay is challenging, but not like
Frustrating.
exactly.
It's like on that cusp of like it
Yeah.
pushes you just
It's a
enough.
fine line for you to go, I'm going to go back.
exactly.
And then the other part is going, I'm done with the game.
Yeah.
It's the kind of like challenge where it's like I want to learn how to get through this, and not
Exactly.
like I can see the end, but I can't get to it. But
Yeah.
it's
Just-
that.
On a other note, do you guys play with headphones on or do you play with the speakers, like the TV sound?
I do headphones.
I prefer TV sound, but like let's say it's a crazy loud game or lots of gun firing and stuff like that, then I'll pop my headphones on.
And
When I'm PC gaming, it's headphones all the time, but like console.
you headphones.
No, someone is always calling me at home. There's always something to do, so I just have to play without.
Because I always wondered like what difference the game is, especially because like the sound in the game is such a big important thing.
Yeah.
Then you go, how much of the game are we losing by like because of a TV? At least?
A lot.
Yeah.
Like
it's significant. Like if you get like a good pair of headphones,
Yeah.
that's an instant like change.
Exactly.
in how you play.
So to those who here's the cut, guys. Do you play with headphones or the speakers, or do you just not listen to the screen and just watch what's happening? 'Cause I feel like that's the other option. If you have lighties or a family, you just go, I must just look and take
Or
in
do you
the
kick
game.
it old school and you put it on mute and then
Yeah.
you sit there and play and just read subtitles?
Yeah,
Imagine the sound,
subtitles.
wind.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
And then-
so I then also last night watched Robbie Williams here in Cape Town. And great. Entertaining, lots of fun.
Robbie Williams, I went to Palai.
Yeah, Buta Robbie, yeah. So yeah, he's come up in the world. And yeah, lots of fun.
Was he as amazing as you needed him to be?
Yeah. I was saying to you guys off camera, but like he came with all the hits. He threw in a few covers, which was cool. He did one, not Wonderwall by
Also, you don't need
Oasis.
white people to say that word, but carry on.
Oh, this is Trump's podcast.
Give us the almost got that Roman salute, which is a scam, by the way.
it's such a
lie.
big scam.
But anyway,
No, so he came with the hits, a few covers, and he was engaging a lot with the crowd, and I love that. You know what I mean? And like there was I didn't say this earlier, but there was like he was probably in his 70s, golden circle right in front, and during one song, literally Robbie Williams was singing. He's like, look at this fucking guy. And then there's like a camera guy, obviously like filming for the camera guy turns to him and the whole crowd's like, ah! And then at the end of the song, Robbie Williams is like, what's your name, sir? And they started chatting for like 5 minutes.
nice.
And then Robbie kept going back to, his name was like William Hill. And then Robbie just
That
called
is
him
an English-ass name.
Bill Hill.
nice.
And then the whole time, it's just like, isn't that right, Bill? The whole concert, he's just going back to Bill the whole time, talking crap. And then, no, it was really, really cool.
So at the time
great.
of his life.
yeah.
But
But
Bill can now die.
Yeah.
Blil.
Great. And I'm doing it again tonight with Offspring and Green Day. I don't know how I'm going to survive, but
I feel
Yo.
like tonight's gonna be harder.
If
Yeah, I
you
feel like it's
if
gonna
you
be a
see
little more.
Brad over like Friday to Saturday, please have sympathy for you.
Yeah, please.
What's Offspring seats?
gonna go far,
pretty
kid.
fly for a white
Yeah.
guy. You're going to go far, kid.
What's the other one?
My friends gotta go. And then
Don't sing anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got a lot of songs that you don't realize that you know, but
I feel
Yeah.
like
but
I,
you're
know
like,
them.
oh, that's, I know
I feel
that
like I'm
song.
going to see Tony Hawk. I'm going to see Burnout.
Yeah.
I'm going to see.
Yeah, it's basically like your teenagers. You're gonna relive.
exactly.
Oh,
No, I
you're
can't
also
wait.
going tonight.
yeah, we got tickets.
Lick.
Yesterday, last
Can't wait. It's going to be lots of fun. Last night was like a good 35 degrees in the stadium.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone was just sweating. I was like doing general standing. It was my first general standing, and yeah.
I'm at the age of if I'm standing at the concert, I'll stand at the back.
We stood right at the back.
I'll go sit on the floor at the back.
No,
and I'll
I'm
be
not
fine.
fighting for space. We stood right at the back. We had a lot of space around us. Could still see the stage.
Yeah.
Sound was perfect. But also you a head taller than all of us.
That's
So
the other problem.
Yeah.
Is that I don't like being in front because then I feel sorry for all the short
Yeah.
people behind me.
I wish everyone thought that last night when they came and stood right in front of me. But yeah. Yeah.
And
And then
Yasin, you?
I went back to a game called Golf Battle on my phone, and it's one of those ads that you get, and then it caught me again, and then I got in.
Yarra.
And
This
then I spent 40 rand also on the
Yo,
pass.
come on, come on.
Guys, I fell.
Come on.
If
40
you are
rand.
looking for someone to scam,
It's me.
it's him, right?
Just make it the ad.
Make it a ad of a boring game. Yo, that one when you shoot the zombies coming and then you move to the left and that game will have my heart.
Yarra.
I don't know, have you guys seen that game?
Yes, I've seen it too many times. It
Yeah.
frustrates
Have you
me,
downloaded
and
it
I know that's
No.
the marketing strategy.
I saw that. Did we mention it on here? But somebody made a game that is like it's filled with mini games of all those games. But like
yes, we have
the
spoken
game
about
from
this.
the ads, they made the actual game of it, so you can actually play the games
Yeah.
that you want to play.
That's how I'm download next. And then this week has just been busy siding up here on the road, seeing Cape Town
Yo.
and its people.
And getting sunburn on my
Yo.
on the top of my knees because I'll keep wearing shorts in the
How
car.
many Ks did we travel this week?
Yo, bruh, that's too much. I have sunburn everywhere.
Yeah, like I've got tans in the folds of my fat.
Bro is a piece of biltong. at
Yo,
the
it's
moment.
bad, bruh.
So now we're going into the question from the week, and we actually got a question from one of our viewers, Riaz Z Jaffa,
Z away.
and he's
you know,
asking
Yeah.
story versus gameplay. Like, what is
More important.
pivotal? Yeah.
Yo, okay, do you wanna go?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think story trumps gameplay.
Don't use other words.
Sorry. Story, Elon's gameplay.
come
Give us
on.
more, White.
Honestly, so like when I saw that question, the first game that almost came to mind was Firewatch, which is by all accounts it's a hiking simulator.
It is. It's basically it's like a puzzle style game where you have to
So you take over. You take the job where you do Firewatch over summer.
over forest.
It's like a story. There's a whole storyline like your wife died or whatever. Or she's
Yeah,
busy
yeah.
dying. Or she's like in a care home or whatever. And you take this job to get away. And
But also that's all just told via text on screen,
Yeah.
but that's where the story. It's written so well that I'm reading this and I'm going,
Yeah.
what happens next? What happens next? So yeah.
so you go there and then you do the Firewatch job where you live in a forest and you're on top of the tower and you look out and you must say, oh, there's a fire in this quadrant or whatever. But so obviously while you're there, there's like a lot of stuff happening and
It's
you
the
start
first person also.
First
and
person.
you uncover like a mystery of a missing boy that a boy that went missing during one holiday year, and it's a real
And
great
that's the whole
story,
game
and-
work in just in there.
No. You go.
No, you walk
you-
out. You actually go hiking.
You
and
must actually
like,
go
walk
out and
around
hike and
and
go find
you have to like.
clues and
Yeah.
things like that.
So I fully get you. Yeah.
But
It's a very short game. Also.
Yeah.
Four,
It's
like
you
4
can
hours, like three
Yeah.
and a half, 4 hours.
Really?
And
Yeah,
it's,
you can-
it's really just that's the thing. The story keeps you engaged.
Yeah.
Like the first thing like in the game that you do after getting to your post is like you see like people letting off fireworks in the distance, and then someone radios in and goes like, "Can you go check that out?"
Yeah.
And then you go there, and it's like these figures in the distance, but then you can't get to them. You can just hear them talking, but then they've littered everywhere. Then you're wondering, who are these people? Why did they litter? Why are they rude? Then you find their tents that have been shredded apart. But for me, I haven't finished the game, so I don't know if it's no. But I you're wondering like, is this a dream? Is this a fantasy? What's happened?
Yeah.
Caught in the real life, no escape from reality. And then and as you can see on the screen as well, there's like dialogue choices as well, which I assume might be consequential to the end of the story. So it's like, this is the first game that popped into mind where the gameplay is pretty simple, but the story is what
Yeah.
keeps you engaged, which makes me think like my preference is story over gameplay.
But also, I think yours story, if you look at stuff like your previous games of those monkey
the Monkey Island,
Islands,
yeah, exactly.
because those are story based essentially.
Big time, yeah. And the gameplay is fun as well. Don't get me wrong, the gameplay has to be good. I mean, if the gameplay in this game was
Yeah.
shit, I probably wouldn't have even
Yeah.
given it more than half an hour. But story to me is more important.
You said?
Honestly, it depends. Like if I look overall, I would say story is more important. But there's sometimes when I just want to play a game and
Yeah.
I don't care about what's happening. And like if the gameplay is nice, then I
Yeah.
can unwind by playing
Yeah.
a game. You know what I mean? Like
I think like for me it comes down to like you say, like the type of game that you playing first and foremost. If you're just there to trick and not to think about like the
Yeah.
story in the background, like a Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
You know
The
what?
story doesn't matter, but like story can like tank a great game. Like if it has a shitty ending, it can like ruin your experience.
yeah,
Tony Hawk.
But like,
Project
Tony
8,
Hawk.
yeah.
but it can also like elevate. I don't want to say like mid gameplay, but gameplay that's not really groundbreaking. And it's like if you take games like Uncharted and The Last of Us, it's not like groundbreaking gameplay.
Yeah.
But it does elevate the gameplay. Like the story does take it above and beyond. So like story is pretty pivotal. Like
It's for me gameplay. But also my attention span. You guys know me already. As I
I
go-
didn't play
Yeah,
games
see-
from ads,
I
but
was, I was just price attracted to it, and like there's no
a shiny object, me, I'm there. But yeah, gameplay. Because actually, you're just saying that now, though. I think the game that they gave a story to that was unnecessary was Underground. Need for Speed did not need a story of like, oh, you're on the cover of the magazine now. Oh, this one rivals you. Just give me the next stage. I want a better car.
That
That's
I do agree with as well. Because like while we were talking now, the game, I don't ever care about
Don't talk about the game.
Sorry, I don't ever care really about the story in like a Grand Theft Auto game.
Yeah.
But it must play nicely for me
Yeah.
to enjoy it. Like I just care about the mini stories within the
Yeah.
self-sustained missions.
Mm.
But the overall story, I don't really care. I don't care about the characters or anything in the Grand Theft Auto game. I just want it to be fun. So
I think 5 like does a good job of like
yeah.
doing it, but it's not like pivotal to your
Exactly.
experience.
Like, I'm very happy to skip a cutscene when you
Yeah.
start a mission
Yeah.
and just get into the mission and then catch up later. Like, oh, why am I shooting this person right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's a fine balance. Yeah.
They're close. For me, at least, they're like
It's
very
not close for me. Gameplay's the one.
Yeah.
This comes from if you are attracted to ads, like games from ads, then gameplay is the one.
ads man.
Dan. But on to today's episode, Game of the Year 2006. Okay, the year's 2006. There's a lot of stuff happening in gaming, especially the fact that that's the launch of the 7th generation. of
Wait, what's
consoles.
happening in the world?
So, in terms of movies, Brokeback Mountain came out and
Yeah, Brad.
one. Wait, did it? Oh, it lost to Crash, which was like the Academy Award for Best Film.
Crash is more my movie because it's racism.
That was still in America it wasn't as open.
They were
back
not
then.
as great as again.
And then there was Pirates of the Caribbean came out. Dead Man's Chest came out. That was the sequel.
Great film.
What sequel? The second one.
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, that was actually the winner, I think.
Yeah.
For me, like I like it, but the ending, just because it's a cliffhanger, that just threw me a little bit.
But also, it's one of those series where I don't get why the franchise was so big. Like, it was fun movies.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't get. You know what I mean? Like, so how many movies? 6 movies?
Yeah.
Only
The first
I only
three.
count 3.
Yeah.
And then they started adding on, and you're like, no, stop. I don't
Yeah.
care about these.
Yeah.
There's really good shows this year though. Dexter, Psych, my favorite TV show, Friday Night Lights, Heroes, the Death Note anime, 30 Rock, IT Crowd.
Did this
Whoa.
all
Ugly
start in
Betty.
2006?
Yeah, they all started
Wow.
in 06.
Yeah.
A lot of those I only got into a lot
Also,
later on in life. though.
Borat came out in 2006. That shit was wild.
What an epic year of entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like
Also, Top Chef started then. Yo.
Yo. And we didn't have access. We could only watch this on TV.
The Claws.
Yo, the
Claws.
Claws.
The Claws is the number
Yeah.
one show that didn't make it, yo.
What?
The Claws.
the claw. I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
that's
The
such a good
Claws
show.
and Happy Endings is the other show that
Yeah.
because I watched
I
the
love
episode
Dexter.
yesterday.
The
Dexter
Claws.
was such a Josh show.
Yo.
Claws is also
Until
one
the
of the,
ending.
the Claws is a show where everybody is too big for them to come back now to,
Oh, yeah.
to
It's
ever
impossible.
continue.
Wasn't
with
that
stress.
with
He's
that
in
guy
there.
from Modern Family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Punisher's in there also.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Jason Ritter? What's
Yeah, the
Yes,
son
yes,
of.
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
He's in there also. Cat.
Wow.
Yeah,
I remember it. I
a lot
remember
of them
it.
Lizzie
you see them
Kaplan
because
is
they
in
became
there.
stuff after that
Yes.
also.
Yeah.
A lot
But
of people.
I remember that.
And they
Yeah,
ended on a
it's actually like a
cliffhanger.
pretty epic. Yeah, and then you go to gaming, and it's the launch of the 7th generation console. So Xbox 360, PS3, and the Wii all dropped that year, which is crazy.
Epic.
Like
Did it come here? Did the PC come here to us that year also? Because in my mind, it didn't.
it came in 07, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
so it launched in Japan
Yeah.
in 06.
Okay.
Late
and
06
then,
and then
in 07, it was like late in 06.
I
Yeah.
feel like I didn't see somebody with a PS3 until like I was like in high school. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Are you
I
like
don't know.
pain now? I didn't see a PS3 until I was a man.
No, but it's also that thing of this was still in a time where the whole world wasn't on the same moment.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like now we drop information and it's everybody gets the same
Yeah.
phone at the same time. Same
Yeah,
with movies, same
we
with
never
games.
had like global launches back then. Like,
Exactly.
if a game dropped, you just kind of hope that the shop had it. Like that
Yeah.
was kind of it.
American got releases different to us
Yeah.
essentially. Okay, and then what?
Yeah, that was like just entertainment. But then we go into Game of the Year, and I think this is where like Game of the Year started becoming more and more like a thing. So this was the Spike Video Game Awards, and that was Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Gears of War, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Okami, and then Final Fantasy 12
Yo.
were all nominated, and Oblivion won it,
Yeah.
which is shout out there to the Oblivion remake, which is going to be like worse than the mod remake that the fans put out, and it's supposed to come out this year as well.
Oh, wow.
What did
I
I
haven't
can't
played
picture the game Oblivion. Like
Is Oblivion the one where
That's
the
before
where,
Skyrim,
with the
The bad voice.
where the person? Sorry, can we try that again?
Yeah.
Yeah, they lift up,
And then it's in the game.
What?
Yeah,
We heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion compound, and the temple all on the same night. Wait a minute, let me do that one again. I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion compound, and the temple all on the same night.
Yeah.
So they had like dialogue and then they say the line and they say, sorry, can we
Yeah.
try that again?
Apparently, also like a lot of the dialogue is bad because they did everything alphabetically. So like you read all your stuff. So people didn't like. So some stuff that should be more serious is just read the same as something else just because it was they
The
just
next
read off
line.
and
And I think they just had so much stuff. Like so much dialogue that they had to record that they probably like just
Yeah.
put everything in. They couldn't. So I think
So
this was
it's also just an open world.
first person.
I actually have this
So it's
game.
the one that came out before Skyrim. So Skyrim
Oh.
is the sequel to this. Not
Oh,
sequel,
okay.
but the next one in
It's-
the
yeah,
series.
yeah.
Oh no, I can get why this can win Game of the Year though.
Yeah.
Because it's
But it was
iconic.
massive at the
Yeah.
time. Like in terms of like the open world scope and that.
And I wish I played more of it. Like,
huge game.
I
I think
got
it's
it.
worth going back to.
No.
Maybe
No.
not now.
if you like,
I haven't played Skyrim.
So,
Well, then maybe.
maybe,
Rather
but
just go play
it's
Skyrim.
very like it's so clunky.
Yeah.
It's not good. I played it a few years back just to see, and
Yeah.
it didn't hold up. Like unless you play like
With a
Sky
mod.
Oblivion, which is the mod of it, then it
Okay.
might be worth. But
Yeah.
otherwise,
I remember I got a pirated copy of this game when I was a kid. Well, in 2006. so not
Pirates
when I
of
was
the
a kid.
Caribbean copy.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't get the game. I didn't get what I was meant to be doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
So like the first level when you break out of prison and then you're in the
Yes.
sewers and those rats start fucking getting you.
and you're like, what is
I'm
going
like,
on?
I don't know what to do, and then I just closed the game and I never went
Yeah,
back to
it's
it.
a lot. They just
yeah.
throw you in it and they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, go do stuff, and you're like,
Yeah,
Also, that was in a time before games were introduced like that to us.
but also before you could just go online and check out what to do.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that online component.
We
yeah,
only-
big.
Did you have internet at home in 06?
ADSL, yeah. Yeah, like
Lucky.
like a 1 megabyte line. No, not even.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
people weren't really like here in South Africa.
think
People
we
weren't going
Nah,
online
I
online
got
that
late.
easily.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's
Yeah.
when you press that I button on your phone and then you suma pop like you're like, oh shit.
It's Tita's gonna move now also.
then it's suma like the minus 300 rand
Yeah.
in your chops, bro.
Yeah.
So now on to our game of the year. So
Yeah.
who wants to kick it off? Brad?
I guess I can kick it off because
Can I go because I got a small list.
okay, go for
So
it.
Yasin didn't do his homework. So
Yeah.
he's-
Guys, I never do the
he's reading
homework.
his list right
Guys, yes, he never does the homework, so we must come up with an inventive punishment. So we need you to tell us what he must do.
Boo.
I've got a perfect punishment. We must write jokes for Yasin and he has to perform it at his next set.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Me, I don't care.
But we
gonna
must
get
write it.
I'm in for that.
We must
Yasin's
write it
gonna
in the
get canceled.
style of a Yasin Barnes joke.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's great that this is style.
Yeah.
It's Guitar Hero 2.
Yeah.
It's,
You know what? No, like, yeah, that's a good fucking choice.
Yeah.
Do you have Guitar too?
It's up there.
The thing
box is
with
up
Guitar
there,
Hero
yeah.
2, I feel like it was a sequel that was better than the first and got more scope than the first.
Yeah.
And then also it introduced me to like rock music
Yeah.
that was iconic, but I wasn't necessarily into it.
Do you know what was just about it? It was just like it had the gimmick controller and everything, but it wasn't just a gimmick, man. Like the gameplay, like really made you like use it and made it the experience just. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
What-
sometimes you get those gimmick controllers and then it's like, do this thing, and then you're like, okay, but
Yeah.
then you're like,
You didn't
bored.
feel like a child when you played
yeah,
it.
Exactly.
Like I can play it on a normal controller. It's like you feel like you must play it on this thing,
Exactly.
which was just.
Carry On My Wayward Son was a bang over there
Yeah.
down the list.
Yo, look at this playlist.
Some of
Heart
those-
shaped box.
Yeah.
Some of those are DLC, isn't it? Or
It must
do they have
be,
DLC?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, of the first to get DLC.
Suicidal
Yeah, that was
tendencies.
one of the early games that
Pearl
got
Jam, the
proper.
police.
Yeah, for me as well, like
Danzig.
Guitar Hero is that game that, although I was into rock music, this introduced me more to like the classic stuff or
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like I
was
saw one year,
broad.
John the Fisherman. I mean, that's Primus who did the South Park theme tune. It's just so good. And like, I mean, what was the other one? Mizralu from Dick Dale, which
Yeah.
is a funny name, but I knew the song, but I didn't know the full song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also it made you appreciate the guitar solos in songs.
Exactly.
I
We were
did.
like, oh no. we
And
need
the
to do
song, the Psychobilly Freak
Was,
Out.
Rancid.
what is the final song on the thing as well? Surrender. And then
that's a liquor
Sweet
song.
Child of Mine also there.
Warpigs.
Yeah.
The Trooper. You're the Trooper.
So good.
Was what the Dragon Force?
That was 3.
Was that
That was
3?
3.
Yeah.
But Guitar Hero-
on Pro was
Yeah.
nuts, bro.
But Guitar Hero 2 for me as well.
Yeah.
That's one of my honorable mentions. But like, also first game for me where like it's just a peripheral that you plug into your PS2. And I remember my dad and I walked into Look and Listen, or I was in Look and Listen, and my dad came and like got me there. And then they had that stand with Guitar Hero, and I'm like, "What is Guitar Hero?" And I was playing it. I'm like, "Dad, I just have to get this. I just simply have to get it." I think I went Harvey's with my dad or something. He's like, "I'm not buying this full game for you," so I'm like, "I'll pay half." And
His money also.
I remember, I think the price is still on the box. My Guitar Hero 2 box is up there. I think it was 750 Rand for the game and the guitar, which is in today's money.
That's an indie game price.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's great.
Fantastic game.
And
Yo.
then my honorable mention is Vice City.
The Vice City Stories.
Vice City
Yeah.
Stories.
I never played Vice City
So I had that also
How
on.
haven't played
It was
that.
a PSP.
Was that-
It was the PSP.
I think it
one.
was also like PlayStation 2 and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes, because that time I think they were like doing like all those spin-offs
Yeah,
on
he's
PSP.
on, on PS2.
Yeah, it's a PSP game. And then at the time we had a PSP.
Yeah, you
and
also had a PSP early, like so.
Yeah. Our parents went to Makkah and then they brought me a PSP. And
Standard operation.
And then Anma also had it, and then we modded it, and then we were passing in the games. We Pirate of the Seas. you know.
Amazing.
This is the real pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. It's also one of those, like they scaled the game down, but it still felt like GTA. And I was grateful for
Yeah.
that. So they didn't take away too much from it. And it still had the banging soundtrack. So I think the music was, both games that I mentioned, the music was a big factor in my life, I think, because it introduced me to music that I knew, but wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
If it makes sense. Anyway, those are my 2.
Mine is one that was mentioned there in the top 5 game of the years, and that's Gears of War. And it's a game actually that I never played in 2006. However, I was introduced to it in 2006. So I've spoken about it a long time ago on the podcast.
Just acquaintance.
Yeah.
Didn't
So
take
like
it.
Just me.
a friend of mine, I'm sure the Xbox 360 dropped here around the same time as it did worldwide, but a friend of mine had an Xbox 360, but like when it first came out, like I was still playing PS2, and then I went to his house and he had an Xbox 360.
And you're like, what is this?
Yeah,
And
but
like-
parents do drugs.
Yeah. And the game he had on there was Gears of War.
Yo.
And Obviously, I'd never heard of it. We went to his house one night, and then I was watching him play it, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, the graphics at the time were insane. The gameplay was so cool. It just looked dark and gritty, and like the Xbox itself had like a menu that you could go through, and like, because PS2 was like you put the disc in, you can either look at the disc or the memory card,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's like
a proper menu.
Menu
like a
you can
home
go
screen.
through.
And it was also the Xbox, the center button was a thing also. That
Exactly,
PlayStation
yeah.
didn't have it.
Exactly. So it was a double thing for me. It was like it introduced me to the Xbox 360, the Xbox actually in
Yeah.
general, because this was the first Xbox I'd seen. And then also this was my first introduction to the next generation of games, which was Gears of War.
Was 360 the X, the big X?
No, that was the OG Xbox.
Oh, okay.
The 360 was just the tall
Yeah.
white one with the hard drive at the top, like me.
And then later the black one.
Yeah. And so Gears of War, I've got a bit of an info dump because that's what I do on my Game of the Year podcast.
Info.
So I'm going to read this off and then we'll chat about it. So Gears of War is a 2006 third-person shooter video game developed by Epic Games and published by Microsoft Game Studios. So it was and still is a Xbox exclusive, Microsoft exclusive, because it did come out on PC as well. So the game's main story, this was what I found cool as well, can be played single player or co-op.
Yes.
So if you had two Xbox controllers, one of you is Marcus Phoenix, the main protagonist, and then the other is Dominic Santiago. Then you play together and go through the story together. And this was my first introduction to that as well. Like in the past, for me, split screen was like competitive stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like you're playing the story together.
Which is just.
Which I thought was so cool. And then it's quite a convoluted story, but it boils down to humans versus aliens. And the aliens are called, well, they're not aliens. They emerge from the ground. They're called the locusts. And it takes place on like an alternative Earth called Serra. So it's not Earth, but it basically is Earth. Yeah. The game was a commercial success, selling over 3 million copies within 10 weeks of its launch.
Shit.
And that's for a new IP on a
new
console.
I mean, it sold consoles.
It became
And it looked like this.
this is the
this is-
remaster that we
yeah,
watched.
Saying now because
This is
this is
upscale.
nice.
Yeah, I think this is the Ultimate Edition on the Xbox One.
Oh.
I might be wrong, but
So this is upscale.
yeah,
So it didn't look like that. But
no,
Well, that is how it looked in Brad's mind.
exactly.
No,
Yeah.
this is how we saw it.
That's
back
not-
then.
Yeah. And so it became the fastest selling video game of 2006, the second most played game on Xbox Live in 2007, and one of the best selling Xbox 360 games of all time.
Wow.
Game received acclaim for its gameplay, detailed visuals, and it's considered to be one of the greatest video games ever made, winning over 30 Game of the Year awards in 2006 and helped popularize the use of the cover system. So that's the other thing that I noticed, like, because usually action games are run and gun, you know what I mean? But this one you had to take cover or else you bug it.
Yeah.
So you had to take cover, peek out, shoot, go back. And I think this is what popularized it going forward from the seventh generation onwards. Gears of War is almost what brought the cover system back.
Yeah.
Did they also have that thing where you get blood in your eyes until you recover, or did you just have a health bar?
No, so there's a health bar, and then also you can see on the top right of the screen there's your ammo.
Yeah.
And when you reload with the right button on the Xbox, so not the right trigger, the right button, and then if you hit reload, and then your character will just reload as per usual. But if you press the reload button again at the perfect time, it's a perfect reload. You get extra damage. But if you hit it at the wrong time, then your gun jams, and then you could be stuck in a bit of a bind. So there was all these little things that they brought in, which at the time, going from a PS2 to this, it's like so much
huge,
more.
But,
And then in an interview with Cliff Bleszinski, who's the lead developer for Epic Games,
Cliffy B.
he cites 3 games that were primary influences, and I thought this was quite interesting. The pacing and over-the-shoulder third-person perspective of Resident Evil 4 was an inspiration.
Here we go. Here we go. I was
It
waiting
always
for it.
comes back to it.
And the tactical cover system from Kill Switch, which I don't really know.
Yeah, I was trying to like
Yeah.
think
No,
of
no.
it.
And then he also cited Bionic Commando's influence on the cover system. Then he also said the influence of The Legend of Zelda, including its storytelling and world building, was an inspiration. The game itself is a homage to Metal Gear, which was an influence on Bleszinski in his early career.
That's interesting.
And you can I don't really see the Metal Gearness in here.
maybe like the cover system, but
Maybe.
but that was like,
You know what it also reminded me of? What was the police game where you were basically it was not a Mech Warrior?
you're thinking about Future Cop LAPD.
Yes.
It's something of the game feels like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that came out after this.
No, Future Cop is like a PS.
Oh, is it old?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking of a different game then.
You a car and then you can like morph into a mech.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, I mean, yeah. So, I think the reason this is my game of the year. So, I went back so when I got an Xbox 360 myself a few years later, this was the first game I got. And then I was able to play through it properly and clock it, and I loved it. The final boss is bloody difficult.
and it's held up also.
I think so. And then I played it again when I got my Xbox One S. So maybe 3 years ago, I played the original trilogy again. Still holds up. Story's great. Gameplay's great.
What are they on now?
6? No, 5. They've released 5 games, and then the 6th, which is actually a prequel.
But that's just in storyline. But in terms of design and age, it's
And that's coming out.
Apparently, they said 2025, but it's not going to be 2025.
No, they haven't released
No,
anything.
they just released like a cinematic trailer for it.
Just-
And remember, do you remember that cinematic trailer for Gears of War 1, which was the Mad World?
yeah.
That was insane. We'll watch it later. It's so good. I don't want to watch it now because this is going to take time, but it was so good. And that's why I love this game so much. Like it almost made me fall in love with Xbox in a way. And it like was my first introduction to the 7th generation of gaming, co-op. And then also the multiplayer stuff was amazing. The multiplayer split screen, couch co-op stuff, or you could do like the battle royale kind of stuff, and it was a lot of fun. Just great, lots of fun, and it still holds up.
Time splitters.
At these,
Exactly,
at
yeah,
these,
exactly. So I also, sorry, I've got some honorable mentions. The one was Guitar Hero 2. Is Guitar Hero 2, but you spoke about it. The other one, the other 2 is Bully.
classic,
aka Canis Canem Edit.
Yeah.
So Grand Theft Auto in a school, great. Like the only reason I think that wasn't my game of the year is just because I never played it as much.
Yeah.
And there were things like when you have to go to class and then you have to learn English and like I was just like those mini games, while they're fun and I get why they're there, it like kind of took me out of the game a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Hitman Blood Money.
Probably like
Which-
one of the best in the series.
I think it's my favorite one. Well, my favorite of like the older games.
Yeah, like the pre-World of Assassination.
Exactly. Because that was also the next one. Like, so it's the fourth game in the Hitman series, and that was like in my mind the first jump in graphics and gameplay and everything like that. So I loved the first 3 Hitman games, and then when this one came out, I'm like, whoa, this is like a whole new world. You can do more. The worlds are bigger. There's more ways to assassinate people. The graphics just look better. Great.
Yeah.
Love it.
Did it make you go back and play the others?
It did actually, yeah. And I still the Hitman Blood Money is the one I go back to the most as well. I've got it on PS2, but for me, I can see it there. But for me, it's a PC game. Hitman games are like PC games in a way. For me, that's where I played them, except for the World of Assassination trilogy. Of course.
that's a bit more like console friendly.
But also, it's hardware intensive, so you need a good console and a good PC for that. Whereas the old Hitman games, you could probably play it on like a calculator now. So those are my games of the year.
Yeah.
What a great year for gaming, eh? And for entertainment. Just
Bang. Say it.
So okay, my game of the year 2006 is Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. You might need to bring that up for Yasin.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still
Yeah.
getting used to my new
I
role.
also feel like there was so many. Marvel came out with so many games that didn't go well. So then
I
I'm
think
always
this is just like a cinematic like trailer.
I think this is how the game starts. I think this is just an ad for the game.
Yeah.
So
It's a beat 'em up basically.
yeah, so you make so I'm just gonna give you the smallest
the TLDR.
the smallest info dump. So this game was developed by Raven Software and published by Activision. And basically, like when you're playing it, Dr. Doom assembles a team of all the bad guys, and then you get a call from like Shield or some Nick Fury phones you.
It is like,
And
look
then-
at this cock.
So then all the superheroes end up going there. The first 4, the team of the 4 ends up meeting. They have to go to like the hangar, and then they need to like clear out.
Do you select the first 4?
The first 4 you don't. The first 4 I think it's like Iron Man, Thor, Wolverine, and Spider-Man if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they gave you.
Yeah.
But this is also before the movies.
Yeah. So like
way
at this
before.
at this point, this 2006, right? So The Last Stand came out this year, which wasn't great.
And Iron Man was only going to come out the next year in 2007.
But like this is when like that. This is when the X-Men and the Spider-Man hype is still
Yeah.
it's still there. Spider-Man is like obviously front of the whole cover, everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just remember buying this game. So we went to, when there used to be a Hi-Fi Corp next to that Sportsman's Warehouse in Klipperton Road.
Yes.
I remember like my parents just came back from Makkah and then we had to go buy something at that shop. I saw it while we were leaving and I was like, can I get this please? I was nagging. I got it. Got home. I had forgot that you have to look at the requirements on the power. So my PC could barely run this game. But I had to play it because it was a full price game at the time.
And you must show your parents that.
And I was like, I'm having fun.
It's so much
Iron
fun.
Man's just like,
And the thing is, this is like the first time I had pain for a game because I had gotten a computer that like 4 games and stuff like that in 2005, the year before. And then that was the first time I was like, nah, PC gaming is a scam because like, how can we just get a brand new computer that we had to save for? And then like the next year, I can't run a game properly. And that time also I didn't know about, you can just go in and make everything
Lower.
just lower everything. Remember, I was in grade 5 now. I was like, I didn't know I can just put everything on low. So I'm putting everything on the medium. And there's this one section where you fight. I think you fight Namor, and it's a quick time thing.
Oh no.
And
there's no quick.
There's no quick because by the time the thing pops up on the screen, and also the controls on the keyboard, it's so weird because like you randomly have to press E, or then you must press T, and then you must press Q, and it's like, I'm a lighty. I don't know what all the buttons are.
I don't know where the buttons are.
So then randomly it'll be like, E, and then I must look for E. So you know what I mean? So then I remember.
It's like just playing a typing game.
But I got stuck at that point, and you can probably find online how early in the game that is. But that first few levels before I couldn't play anymore was so lekker. I used to play it all the time because like you could unlock so many people, man. And as you unlock other characters and you unlock other outfits for them, and you can like level up certain stuff for them, like their moves and all that stuff. So it was cool. Like or was it actually? It might have been Hulk. That was one. I don't think you get Spider-Man in the beginning. It was like Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and Wolverine. But it's like, yo, you can play as Wolverine.
So cool.
Wolverine is the coolest.
Yeah.
I still X-Men is still my favorite of the Marvel stuff. Like to this day, I was like, yo, I could play as Wolverine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you do the combination specials in here? So if you have like two.
But I didn't even know.
So-
I didn't get to that point in the game.
The other thing I saw where
Let me
Hulk throws Wolverine basically.
But that's in that's in the Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
like,
But I think it might be in here as well because that's a
yeah, because I had Ultimate Alliance 2 and I remember like if you had certain
Alliance.
if you had certain heroes
Yeah, you
and they
can-
had combinations,
they
if you
can-
do the special, then they combine their specials.
yeah.
That's
Like I
actually
think
really
there's
cool.
one where
Bigger.
Thor can like power up Iron Man or something like that if I'm not mistaken, like stuff like that.
Oh, that's quite.
Yeah.
But you know, like recently I downloaded this game for like an emulator and I was about to start playing it, but then also I don't know what happened.
There's always something blocked.
But then I saw like
Ultimate
I saw,
What console was this on?
this was on PC, PS2.
Also 360.
360,
Because and PS3 I would assume.
Yeah.
Because that same friend who had Gears of War had this as well.
Yeah.
And I remember we were just jamming the whole
And
night
that's
as well.
that's a liquor multiplayer.
Yeah,
game.
that's
Yeah.
a proper
'Cause
like
it-
4-player.
Yeah, because if you fall, you can all.
Yeah.
You can all, yeah.
But I also remember not digging it because I wasn't like
You didn't get to be who you wanted to be.
no, not that. It's just because back then, this was a year before
Oh,
Marvel became
yeah.
mainstream in a way. And like obviously I knew the characters, but I'm
Yeah.
like,
You're not as
Yeah.
invested, yeah.
but I'm looking at the gameplay now. I'm like, I need to get this.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's free on the PlayStation Plus, if I'm not mistaken.
Might
Let's go
be.
check
And
it.
this game is relatively fun. Also,
Yeah.
like, because there's like you can do like specific builds where like if you
Yeah.
get this outfit and these moves and your character is like OP and you can
Amazing.
do like quite stuff and you can make the perfect team of who complements who.
Yeah.
Like
Really cool.
so, I think like in a
fun.
way this might have been ahead of its time, but also maybe not. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think
It's kind of like
Yeah.
okay. I don't think it did anything like perfect.
Yeah.
Like, but it did enough to
Yeah.
make it. Like,
and they made
memorable.
3. Like
Yeah.
they made 3 of them.
which
I
means
fi-
they made enough money to
Yeah.
make 3.
Yeah. Don't you find it funny that the cover, not funny, but like the cover is like Spider-Man is the main hero on the
Yeah.
cover, whereas
Yeah.
these days it would be Iron Man
If they
or
drop
it would be
this game
Captain-
like a year or two later, it would be such a different
Yeah.
narrative.
yeah,
of who's
exactly.
the winners.
But at
Yeah.
the time, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was the biggest thing, and the
Yeah.
X-Men, like you
Yeah.
said. So like,
Because like
You had
they
to have
also-
Wolverine there.
when did the
Fantastic
Ghost-
Four was also like
Yeah.
yeah,
out there, so that's
Yeah.
why they had the thing there. as
When
well.
when did the Ghost Rider movie come out? The Nicolas Cage one.
2005 or 6. I
So
think.
that's
yeah.
is that probably why he's on the cover
Must
also?
be, yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know why Thor is there, but aware.
yeah.
Well, Thor and Cap, I think, is like people kind of knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
What's
that,
yours?
You have an honorable mention?
my honorable mention was gonna be Bully. But again, same like Brad. I didn't play it enough. I think I only finished it once and then I tried to play it again. But like I think
It's a slow start of a game.
yeah, but they
Yeah.
were also limited by like what you could actually do in the game because
Yeah.
he's a child to the point where like you can't like at the let's say for example like if you play a GTA game like that the fact that there is like the ability to like do like violent stuff or car crashes or stuff like that is a part of what makes it fun. But when you are playing as like a 12-year-old lighty, like you can't do any of
Yeah,
those
you
But
things.
you know,
just-
12-year-old light in that game, you Wayne Rooney. That's the only, that's the only person I see when I
Yeah.
play it. I go, yeah, he can fight people. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I would say, and Rockstar did this a lot, like games almost ahead of their time.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think The Warriors was also a game ahead of its time. Manhunt was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Bully was ahead of its time. Like, and that's when they were kind of just throwing things out there and see what stuck. Like, and I guess what stuck was Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
So that's what they kind of put all their
And
effort
State of
into going
Emergency
forward.
was also a fun game ahead of its time. I
Was
feel
that
like.
Rockstar though?
Wasn't it?
I don't think so.
What's that?
State of Emergency.
It was Rockstar.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
but
wow.
They also did table tennis.
Yes.
I always wanted to play that game.
Because
That
it
was
looked-
fun. That was my first game on 360 when I got it.
Is it?
Oh,
It was
I
fun,
need
man.
to see
Was
what
it
looked
worth?
like.
Because it also goes, it sounds like a boring game.
It
Like,
does, but then you go, Rockstar made this, so like, can you fucking throw your table tennis bat at the guy's head when you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Then what's yours, Shadley?
So my game of the year is Okami, and yeah, there's just not a game like it
Yeah.
out there.
Is it getting a sequel or remaster?
No, a sequel. It's getting a proper sequel.
Is
Yeah.
it?
So it's made by Clover Studios and published by Capcom. And this is sort of where like Capcom was at its peak before it went through that decline, and now it's back on a peak.
Yeah.
Anyways, the game is like heavily focused on like Japanese mythology. So you have to take out basically the story is there's this evil deity called Yamato no Orochi that is sealed away by Sign God Amaterasu, who you play as. Anyways, that's released. You awoken. You
Very
kind of like
impressed with the pronunciation, guy.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
Well done.
Carry on.
So that thing is released. Something has released it back into the world. You come back, but you don't have like a lot of your powers because of that. And you kind of have to go about like getting your powers. And you're playing as a wolf. Like the main character is a wolf. So you
I always thought it was Ninetales.
I always thought it was the Ninetales.
Yeah.
It
Fox.
is the Ninetales. It's that's what the Ninetales is like inspired by.
Oh,
So it's got this very like
it looks so cool.
paintbrush
Yeah.
aesthetic, right?
I love
and
the visuals.
it's got like standard battle mechanics, like you get like weapons and that to battle with, but you also get the celestial brush, so you can paint things into existence, and you get different abilities. So they function like in two ways. One is puzzle solving, so you'll get like wind. You can get like wind to like blow across there, so you can blow away enemies like who are floating on like kites and shit. But you can also open puzzles with that. You get a slashing ability, a bomb to destroy like enemies and like open up areas, and it's just so different.
Yo.
Yeah.
You know what
Very
I mean?
cool.
It's like that mechanic I've never seen.
Was
Done.
this PS3?
PS2.
But the
I-
end of PS2.
Yeah, so this would be end of PS2.
But has it been remastered for every?
It's only had one remaster for like the PS4 generation.
So did
Still,
you?
it's on PS Plus.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you played
It's a really good game. It's very like it does have that PS2 feel, but it's aged
Yeah.
very well. It's
The
massive.
PS2 feel is a good thing for this game,
No,
I think.
it's
Like,
perfect.
yeah.
And the fact that it
Also,
chooses an art style over like graphics
Yeah.
gives it so much like character.
Yeah.
Is there,
You know?
Is there spoken dialogue? Or
No.
Is it all?
So the dialogue is something like Brad might not like, where it's like the dialogue is there, but they all go. So it's kind of okay. I guess like at the time it's like
Must you follow the dialogue?
yes, said no.
Is it a good enough story that
Yeah,
you
the
want to
story
follow?
is great. The
Okay.
story is
Yeah.
very.
Do you?
You know what it does well? It takes like Japanese mythology and it like simplifies it down to like
Yeah.
a broad audience,
Mm.
but like still captures like that magic of it, and that is what makes the game so special. Like everything about this is like you in Japan doing this thing, but everything feels so like magical. Like the land is corrupt, so every time you like clean up an area, you have this animation where like the area becomes green again and healthy, and
That's
and
nice.
You kind of
You saw that
it has
picture.
this fantastic quality to it, which is like it's so jazz.
Yeah.
Fantastic quality.
Do you?
Never heard those words together. It's like
That's like the journalist.
Yeah.
Do you think that the new one will have voice dialogue, or will they keep it?
I don't know. I don't think it will have voice dialogue. I think they'll keep it.
You
As
know the
it
thing
is.
of Mr. Bean is the
Yeah.
like one of the most he's the most famous comedian ever
Yeah.
because he has no dialogue.
Yeah.
So you
And that makes it accessible to the planet.
Yes.
everyone.
Yeah.
So
And
you
I think it's because it's so like heavily entrenched in like Japanese culture that they're like, you know what, we're not gonna pull this off with English actors.
Yeah.
We're not gonna pull this shit off. So they just like dialogue and mumbling. That's
Yeah.
how we're gonna do it.
Great.
But the same director is coming back for the sequel.
Yeah.
To do the sequel, and I am really hyped.
Yeah.
Like
Is this the sequel trailer?
yeah, so it's just like a teaser to
But
a
it's also
teaser.
gonna look so just.
Oh, man.
But I
It
like
looked so good on PS2.
Yeah.
Will it be a PS5 exclusive? Or
I
PlayStation
don't know.
exclusive?
I don't know.
Because I think Okami was the original. I
Yes,
think.
I think so.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, no,
Actually,
Wasn't it like?
no. So it was the on PS2 and Wii,
Okay.
and then the HD was on PS3, Windows, PS4,
Interesting.
Xbox One, and Switch.
Interesting
Okay.
that they went to the Wii. But the
Because-
other thing is like this is style I feel like they got right before Street Fighter got it right.
Yeah.
Because Street Fighter also went through some ugly stages in the world
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
tried to go 3D.
But like what I like about it is like it's like parts no, they didn't even say two. This is early because they just call it sequel.
Yeah.
Does it end in a way where you could have a sequel? No spoilers, because I think I'll play it like one day in my life.
Yeah.
It's-
you can't bang a game that
Wait,
is
I'll tell you
15 years old.
Come on. Yeah,
Give
I'll
me
tell
a
you
chance,
this.
guys. Give me a
Yes,
chance.
it can have a sequel.
Okay.
And I think it's just because it's also it's entrenched in Japanese mythology,
Yeah.
so you can always pull from that, which is jazz. And like I say, it's a game like it's one of those things like I've never seen anybody do that before. Like the celestial brush mechanics. You know, it's like the Nemesis system in what's it? Shadow Mordor.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay, but that's patented.
Yeah.
So they
On the PS5 pad, can you draw? Can you use that to draw?
You could actually
I hope they do that.
That would be
'cause
so
that would
fire.
because that would be
That would be fire.
insane.
So do you draw the stuff while you're playing, or must you like enter screen
No,
to
you
draw?
enter a screen, it like kind of freezes everything and then you draw it.
Okay.
But you have limited ink. So you must get like your shapes at that like
so
right.
they have
So the-
potential to let you like be able to draw at any moment or the new one and just
So,
be
but
like,
you need to also like think about like what are you going to do and how effective and where you drawing it in like that frame, which is just
Yeah, I actually do hope they use that. Also, because again, I like when games maximize the controllers.
Yeah.
Where they find other things to do other things.
So I was gonna say the last thing is like it is also like one of those things where they say it's video games as an art form. It's like really regarded as that, and then it's also on that list of one of the best games ever made. Like, it's
I can
also
only
highly
imagine. Yeah,
regarded in that.
it
in that
looks,
in
it
that
looks
regard.
amazing.
it's a great game.
How's
Yeah.
the soundtrack?
It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially from
You're saying fantastic a lot. Man.
It's the SEO in
It
it.
came from that Marvel game. You just like
it is.
Fantastic. Alice is fantastic over here. Okay.
It's Marvel Rivals, man, and Fantastic Four and all of
And
that.
Rice, do you also think that's...
Rice is rice.
There was a tastic gag right over there. Carry on. Let's carry on with the world.
I was thinking of
And then, that's the episode. I'm Yasin Bonds.
I'm Shadley.
I'm Saeed.
I'm Mohammed.
This is the Coffee
Here we go.
podcast. Bye.
Mashallah. Khamat bread.
Inshallah.